Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. This is Jermaine from Abrava, your relationship coach right here. And today, we're going to have a great and interesting podcast for you. So if you're just tuning in, then well done and great. I don't know what I'm saying well done and great for, but we'll just go with it. So today, I've brought in another author of a great book around the gentleman's perspective that we're going to get a bit more detail around it. And someone who I've met online actually came to your first event and was really empowered and really impressed with his event. So none other than Malachi. How we doing, bro?
Hello. Thanks for having me here.
Nah, I had to have you in here, man. After going to your event, the gentleman's perspective, I was like, this is definitely a guy I need to start working with because we're just kind of both on the same page and the same path, really.
Yeah, same wavelength.
Definitely. Now, before you put the gentleman's perspective event on, you wrote a book.
Okay, yeah.
What motivated you to write that book?
The motivation solely started from realizing that what I'm saying, the content, the information, the wisdom is relevant and it's needed, and it's what people wanted to hear, especially from the male's perspective. And because it was just, anyone that knows me knows that I've always been like this, talking or looking at the world differently.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? So I'm looking at the situation differently. So if I'm built different, I can express and hopefully tap into the minds that are not thinking outside the box.
Okay.
So going back to what you asked me, is like, I just thought, you know what, I need to put this in book format because books never die.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So what is it about the men's perspective that we feel today people are not listening to or don't really understand?
A lot of with males, there's a lack of how can I say understanding of women.
Okay.
A lot of men don't understand how women think, and they're lazy to want to know how women think, so they're not taking time out, but they're using their time to think how things work, as in to make money or to entertain their friends or even to play their PlayStation. They're using that effort, but they're not putting that effort into family. They're not putting it into their kids. They're not putting it into their woman, obviously. So, and relationship, I just think that it's like, that is definitely an area that I need to tap into and like help men understand. And I'm not saying that the men that don't understand or treating their women bad, they have a chance to fix up. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not condemning anyone that's done anything, or because no one's perfect. I'm myself, everything's a learning process. But if you have the knowledge of something, then you can learn from it.
Oh, okay. No, I totally agree. One of the early podcasts that I put out, I talked about the lack of role models, particularly for more for guys like ourselves, young black men. I said that when I was growing up, a lot of role models that I could relate to, it was kind of put in a joke format. So Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Cosby Show, a lot of things were kind of around family. Yeah. But it was done through a comedy sense. Yeah. So it kind of desensitized the real issues of, it's funny to laugh at, but actually, where do you go as a young guy who is going through those kinds of issues? But then the people that you could kind of talk to were kind of guys from the streets or what the class as roadman. So where's the issue? Where can guys go today? Because I think if there's still the lack of role models and less programs now, where younger people can watch and relate to, where does a young guy go now?
So my take on that is, I'd say we need to separate from the TV and the programs, because we're in an age where everything that they've put on the television has their main priorities money. It's a monetary thing. It's not, the information is misled, it's fake news, it's just for the TV, it's fake. So you can't adapt your mind to say, because you've seen it on telly or the internet or Instagram, that's how I should as in the format as like films and movies and episodes. Nah, that's all lost now, and you're fighting against a society that's been put together from Hollywood days. Hollywood, there's over 50 years worth of work, and their aim is not to help people, it's just to entertain. You get what I mean? So entertaining. A clown entertains. It doesn't mean you listen to and follow what a clown does. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely.
so it's like you have to go to the people. You have to speak to some elders. You have to speak to elder people. Not all of them, because some of them are men, still boys, but they're stuck in a man's body. You have to go to some elders with sense and wisdom, and people like myself in our generation who have been there, who have been down that road, the road life and all these things. They've been there, so they know I'm credible to talk about certain things because I've been there, experienced it, and I've come out the other side.
Okay, so tell me a bit about your world. What world was you in that kind of shaped you to sit down one day and say, you know what, I'm going to write a book about, from the perspective of men, for people to pick this book up and be educated, to learn and to understand actually this is the perspective of a man, or this is how men see it and this is how we understand it?
So I've always been around, you know, older guys as my bedrooms and friends and stuff, and you know, some had guidance, some didn't, and I've always been the one that would go against the grain and just, you know, do the opposite. Like if certain mans would want us to do certain things that I thought was disrespectful because it's enjoyment, entertainment, I'd be like, nah, I'm not on it. But I had the courage to say, nah, I'm not on it. Do you know, I'm not going to follow the crowd. And I think, so I had that installed in me throughout the years, and you know, was learning over time with relationships and stuff. And it was when I had my daughter, I thought, I'm not having certain guys that I hear and see treat my daughter like that. So I need to be the example of what she should go for, and educate her and all the kids in her generation, the younger kids, on what to, you know, identify the red flag. It's all about, if you see the red flag, you don't go there. Do you know what I mean? And until you find the opposite of the red flag, you do what you're doing. I agree, totally agree. Here's another question then. So I call it STLs, which is stats, truths and lies, because obviously sometimes you'll get stats that can support one thing, and like they do a survey of 4 people and say we asked the community. So one of the stats that I was looking at, they were saying that there's a massive decline in relationships. So nowadays, because of Brexit, particularly in the UK mainly they're talking about, it's cheaper to kind of be a single parent and get as much income as you can, and you can get supported and stuff like that. So it's almost encouraged from the background of don't be with your partner, actually kind of stay to the shadows. So is that a kind of a mindset that we're adapting from community, or is that something that we just have naturally, culturally? Because I remember growing up and looking at my friends who had both parents, and you almost kind of be jealous, like, oh, okay, cool, what's different to them to about me? And we talked about it a bit earlier, some people who kind of grown up in both households, they seem to be a bit more street than those that come from a single background. Society, because I had this question the other day, society, without people realizing, it's gone beyond communities now. Society, as in what's, like I says, on telly, the influences, the influencers, what people look up to, no matter what it is. It can be music, it can be film. It's society that's creating a false idea of what it's supposed to be like. It's society. So it's gone past the community thing, where I know as a community you have your bad role models who you follow, but in a sense you can have a bad role model, but you don't have to turn out to be bad, because you can have something that can give you a different, an alternative perception and perspective on something. And it just takes the right paths, it takes the right resources. So if you've got one bad role model but you've got 10 good friends, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be like the 10 good friends, and switch away from what you've grew up around, that one bad role model. So it's more about you know, the people that you invest your time in, and not the people that, you know, the bad role models, to follow them. You don't need to follow the bad role models because it's the in thing. Do you get what I mean?
No,
so
I totally hear
single parenting and stuff, it's like, it's learned behavior. It is learned behavior. And it's, if we learn to control the minds of the young men, as in, this isn't good, you shouldn't be like that, then they'll have a better understanding, a better mindset, and you will have less single parents because they'll be there for their kids. And if they're there for their kids, then their mind is on a wave where they can be there for the woman because they're valuing the child is part of the family.
Okay. And how does a young person adapt that mindset? Because for the short time I've known you and the short conversations that we've had, you're very much of a person that's regularly kind of striving to do more. So 1 minute we were talking about your event, which we're going to talk about as well in a bit, and then next it was like, my book's come out, I'm looking at some other kind of book, I'm now looking at something else, and I'm looking at something else, and I'm like, this guy is motivated to he's not settling at just, I've done that, I can sit down and say I've done it now, there's more I want to do. How do you get that mindset? How do you adapt a mindset of, okay, there's more I can still do? Because most people nowadays, from all different walks of life, are happy to say, I'm comfortable to just do what I can do and just survive. In life there's certain roles that people do, and sometimes you have to accept that certain people are here to just say go to a job and sell computers, and that's all they their cup is full, they're happy with that. That's their happiness. My happiness is a different level. It's when I see people doing what they are passionate in, that makes me even more enthusiastic to say, okay, how can I help you to own what you've got? Okay. So if you're passionate about videoing, filmography, I'm thinking of ways that I can facilitate and help you get to where you need to go. Okay. I don't need to do it because I want something back. I just want to know I can go to sleep and say, you know what, I had a resource, and I shared it with a talented person, and they've gone and done whatever, and they're creating their own happiness. Do you get what I mean? So it's all about the level of you know what, it's all about what's in your heart. You get what I'm saying? Because in my heart I can be happy that I'm helping people. Absolutely. Do you get what I mean? So it doesn't matter about what's in your heart. There's a lot of people who are Ginals and they don't get far. Do you get what I mean? They always fall. But I'm not a Ginal, so I can only be, and to me it's working. I'm just being true, I'm being honest, and that's it. It's working for me. What's a Ginal? Because we have people from different cultures and backgrounds. You might be like, what's a Ginal? A Ginal is someone that only thinks about benefiting from you for themselves. Okay. So they're not joining arms with you so you can both grow. They're doing it because they've got an agenda of, okay, I can get all this out of this person, and then I will have a better life and leave that person and not care. So I would call them, for those that don't know, a Ginal is a selfish person or greedy. Or I was tempted to go there and name drop like celebrities, but I'm not going to do that. I was tempted to say Kardashians, but anyway. We're not going to do that for legal purposes. Hashtag we've got no money. So gentleman's perspective. Now that happened early this year. For those of you that follow me on Brava on Instagram, you saw me taking loads of pictures, and also, which we're going to talk about, your social media you can find as well. You'll see loads of pictures on that as well. Can you give them a glimpse of what that was about? Because when I went there, it was a great event. I loved it. It was a panel of yourself, a guy called Andy. Andy, and Andy was the guy who worked with homeless fathers. And relationships. And then Steve was mental health background. Mental health. And then she was the host, and then myself. Okay. What made you say, I'm going to put an event on where people can come down and ask the questions and kind of get a perspective of, this is how men think? I realised there's a shift in the social media realm of videos, and people are starting to listen. Absolutely. People will get bored listening to the stuff that's been around for 10 years, but podcasts and information and things that are affecting you, you'd listen. If someone's talking about how you can better your relationship, someone's talking about how you can better financially, people are going to listen because people want to better their life. So I thought to myself, you know what, people like to see things visually for what they are and believe in it more. Why don't I create a safe space for people, an open space for people to express their issues
and then also hear other people's issues and how they dealt with it, so they can be inspired and think, I didn't think that.
Yeah.
It's all about thought provoking,
Mm-hmm.
provoking thoughts, because not everyone thinks the same.
No,
So if you can get together and think of something different because someone inspired you to think like that, you're helping each other, hand in hand. You can't just do it on your own.
I totally agree. I absolutely agree. And it was lovely to see how much ladies were out there kind of used it as not just a Q&A session, but an opportunity to say, okay, I need you to explain, what am I doing wrong? So for instance, one lady kind of stood up and was like, I'm raising my child by myself. What am I not doing? Because what came out quite a lot was ladies saying, I can't teach my son to be a man, so how do I get through it? And I liked how you guys handled that, in terms of the best you can be is the best you can be.
Yeah, so I think I remember the girl that asked that, and I was like, you're trying to be the man, that's where you're going wrong. Just stop trying to be what the man's, fill the shoes of the man. First of all, learn how to fill the shoes of the mom, the woman, not a friend, mother and daughter, or mother and son, not friendship. Once you feel that, and you're directing your child to a male who you think is a good role model, then that person is not filling the shoes, but as a man, he's doing what men do. Because you can't. It's just a hard thing to explain. It's just down to the dynamics of male and female. So the young boys, certain things a woman can just not teach a boy. It has to be from a man. And if he doesn't learn in the house or from role models, he'll learn on the street. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, or from what he's watching or what's
exactly. And think about it, when the young boys do go on the street, they still don't learn that from females. They have to learn it from either a bigger man, script them up, or a man that's, it's something, an altercation with a male. They learn how to back down, not be too lippy, or survive.
Okay. Here's a question that you said something and I thought, actually, that's an interesting question to ask. Is, for as long as I can remember, maybe it's just because of the background I came from, I saw a lot of women who were doing the role of both mom and dad. And you kind of thought, well, you kind of grew up being expected that that's just how it is. But then you kind of see a lot of women doing mom and dad, even when dad's in the picture. Is that kind of, do you reckon that's a mindset that we've society again has taken on, as where he's no good, like, he's sitting down there watching football, well, I'm running up and down taking the kids and I'm doing this, and I'll tell you what, I'll do it then, forget you, because you're not doing what I expect you to do, so I end up doing both roles. Do you reckon that's half of some of or towards the reason why we have so much conflicts in relationships? So
regarding relationships, I think that example right there is when people are together but they're not in a relationship. They live together but they're not in a relationship. They're very much doing financial things, growing the kids together, waking up in the morning, but you're not in a relationship, because that's not a relationship. That's where it's a distorted view. You're doing the family thing, but there's a difference between raising a family and having a relationship. Do you get what I mean? Like, tribes raise families, but not every person is in a direct relationship. Everyone has their place to do what they need to do. Do you get what I mean? So basically in that situation, it's like when the man isn't pulling his weight and the woman has to do both jobs when he's around. Obviously we call that a waste man. For if a waste man is someone that is just lazy. He's lazy.
Good for nothing.
No good for nothing. So then the woman, that because he's acting like that, the woman needs to start, and I know it sounds a bit mad, but start looking at it like he's a child. If you want to sit down and play your PlayStation while nappies need to get changed, then cool, I can do it, but you need to either fix up or not be a part of this family, because you're not doing anything for it. So, but a lot of women just accept it and leave it because they have other needs to be fulfilled. It's an understanding of, come on, put your priorities right. If a man isn't being a man, then don't expect him to fill a man's shoes or give him a position to be a man. He needs to be told, you know what, you're a boy. Go and do boy stuff over there. Do you get what I mean? Keep a man on his toes and maybe, kick him up at the arse a bit, and maybe he'll be like, you know what, I'm moving like a boy. I need to fix up.
Do you think men need to be in an environment where there's other influential men who can can't have that conversation of actually, you know what, here's how you probably should be handling this a bit better, or actually you need to be looking at how to be not just a man, but probably be more respectful and more kind of instructive in your relationship.
Yeah, so it's the friends that they have around them.
Yeah.
So as if it like men need to really check themselves and check their friends and be around people that you aspire to be like, role models. And some men will probably have excuses and saying, well, I don't know none of that, or I don't have these friends. You can switch on your laptop and go and look and listen to people who are talking the right stuff. It's clear. No one in this day and age can say they don't know how to be a good person. You don't know how to, you know, do certain things that keep your life on track, because it's there. It's there. It's in books, internet. People speak about it. But it's their choice if they want to ignore it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Men are ignoring the truth. Like there's certain my friends on Facebook, social media, when I post certain things and some of them have a sexist mentality, they ignore it. I'm still cool with them, but I know they're ignoring it because they're like, I'm not on that. What's Mala talking about? But deep down, they know the truth, because when it comes to their kids, they start to speak up then. Oh, I'm not having a man like that, you know, be with my daughter. And I'm sure they wouldn't want a waste man to be with their daughters. Or, you know, if they're being lazy, they wouldn't want that at all. So they know, but it's a choice. They're making a choice.
So if a young guy or woman picks up your book now,
yeah, what
is the key thing that you want them to take out of that book when they walk away reading it?
So for the females, they can read it and become inspired to self-love, self-understanding, and read the quotes to uplift their confidence and to understand that, you know, there is men out there who understand you. Give them a bit of hope. For the men, they read it and understand how to respect women and the emotional side of a woman and what a woman is thinking deep down, and, you know, little things that they don't understand. But because I understand a woman to as much as I can, which is more than obviously the norm, I'm trying to give that message to men and think, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
She might smile at you every day, but bro, you know, that's a smile that females can just put on, and she could be broken. Do you get what I mean? Have you ever thought about asking her certain things apart from just about yourself, and, you know, just certain things about her emotions? And if a woman's got your kids, or you're with a woman, you call her your woman.
Yeah.
Why would you be afraid to show emotion? Like that alpha male role model stuff. When you're with your woman, you come down a peg or two. We've all watched gangster movies, and what do gangster movies do with their wife? Most of them share emotion. Most of them, like, all the time, you know, this is my woman. They respect their women. You know, it's a weird respect, but they still hold respect for their women. They're still with them, and they show emotion, and, you know, invest in their woman. Like, they invest in their woman. And if the woman don't understand them, then it's the wrong woman. But obviously the women understand them, so they grow together.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is being a gangster and shutting out our partner. You can't be in a relationship with a woman, have your separate life, and expect it to work. It's not going to work.
She's true, and the scary thing is there's so much guys out there who try to live double lives. As my mum used to call it, have your cake and eat it. Yeah. And expect to have the same result of it should be fine. It should all work itself out, which is quite sad, really. Which is quite sad and very scary. I mean, I was talking to a couple some time ago. Yeah. And I was just saying, I asked the question, just tell me about your day to day. What do you guys do? Day to day, week to week, what's your lifestyle? And when they explained it, and it encouraged me to put another post out, which I'll be doing tomorrow. Yeah. Which was, if you're doing the same things but expecting a new result, I will call it crackers. Yeah. Because you're kind of doing the same thing and thinking, at some point we're going to learn from this and do something completely different. Yeah. But you don't learn from habits. Yeah. You don't learn from bad habits. But I'd say it also takes someone to help you identify that you're in a cycle of bad habits. Because sometimes you can get caught up in whatever you're doing and you don't realize that you're actually consumed within your own realm
until someone come and burst your bubble.
Absolutely.
And that can be a female, that can be your mom, that can be, that's, you just text that one comment to burst that bubble, and you think, you wake up. So that's why I say socializing with different people, and like my events, everyone getting together, people may come there in a certain bubble.
Yeah.
And a comment, so they hear a comment or a situation and their bubble gets burst, and they leave and think, my mind has been opened.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, and I totally hear you. One thing I was going to say, so you've got your event coming up on Monday.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's sold out.
Yeah.
So those that are watching at this moment on social media are going to be very upset because they can't get a ticket.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's not the last time you're doing it, though, is it?
Nah, I'm definitely going to keep it up. So obviously the two events, as soon as I put the tickets out, they just get taken quick, because the content is very valuable. This event was sold out so quick without social media pushing it, because I had a waiting list from the last event that basically filled most of the seats, and I'm a person, I need to give people a chance. So the more support I get with these shows is the bigger the venue. So I'm proving to myself as a businessman that it's working. So I can hold a bigger space, and it's not about money because it's a free event. Do you know what I mean? It's about the quality of the content that is in the show that people can take away. So there'll be more. This one is going to be a Black History special. Talking about the transition from the Windrush community coming into England, having respect, morals, religion, and then when you look further down the line, the last generation is the kids, teenagers, 15 to 20, and they are completely in a different world.
Absolutely.
And how we got to that in the space of 60, 70, 80, 40 odd years. Do you know what I mean? 40,
big
50
change
years.
Of generation.
It's like, how did that happen? Do you know what I mean? For example, you got most of our grandparents from the West Indies, and the reason I say West Indies because obviously, as all black people but Africans have a different culture. It's different. Education is set up different. The West Indian communities, like, they've come here with all of that, and it's like, it was no fault of them, because some of them didn't know, and it's it's a new country. They just come here to work and make money, but they had some of the most respectful morals and teachings that the European world is learning from now. And they came here, and then it was most of their kids in the 80s and 90s that had the most kids that have relationships. You get what I mean? Like, oh yeah, dad's got about 10 kids, different women. It's like, what?
But is that something that we just accept though? Like, because I've grown up with friends and family, and it's not until now I've got my own kids. Like, back in the day, you'd be like, I'm one of 6, I'm one of 8. Yo, that's a lot of kids. Until you're in that stage where you've got your kids of your own, and you're like, I'm on my 4th kid, and you're like, dude, slow down, man. Like,
I mean, you can have a family, you can have loads of kids with the one woman, but when it comes to, like, you've got loads of different kids with different women, and you're not looking after them, and most of the relationships are not even relationships, that were just seeing a person carelessly and having a kid and all of that, like what happened in the 80s and 90s, and it's like some brothers and sisters don't even know each other. And the only reason why, even myself having a sibling, I know because of fate. Well, I know of the sibling, but then connected better on Facebook. That what is that all about? Do you get what I'm saying? And the grandparents of that child, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, we're religious. How does that?
Some kind of religious background.
How does that make sense now? I know society had its influence, and I know it was hard because I've talked to a lot of elders, and they're like, protection, it wasn't really out there back in the day. It wasn't available like that. But still, like, I hate to say it's not just based on a cultural thing, as in races, but there's other communities. They didn't have protection, but they kept that vibe of respect, as in, you meet a woman, you grow a family. Do you know what I mean? We done the opposite. You meet a woman, you have a kid. You have a kid. The dynamics changed, and I'm trying to, at the event, I want to get down to how, why, what, when, what's going on. Because think about it, that is affecting the kids now.
We're almost close towards time, but another question I'm going to quickly ask before we draw to a close is, how much do you think mental health has an impact on within the black community? Because it's something that it's only kind of now really come out more in terms of, like, you know, back in the day was the man, he's just in the cave, he's hiding himself. Whereas now I've got to an age and understanding of my own kids, it's like, that sounds like depression to me, or that looks like anxiety to me, or that looks like, you know, stress to me. But those words, I can't remember being a young person and he, like, depression was kind of if you've got mental health, you're meant to be in a madhouse. You couldn't be mental health and be at home. It was mental health and All Saints for those in Birmingham, or somewhere where the crazy people go. Whereas now it's kind of thrown around quite easily as, oh yeah, I've got mental health, I've got anxiety. But then I've noticed particularly more of the older black men are very unlikely to say I'm depressed. Or I'm going, because that means stats against stats. Most black men don't go to the doctors. So how much do you reckon has a massive impact of mental health on them? I mean, a lot of men claim the mental health as in they don't really understand how deep it is. You know, actually, you know, like acting out of character and doing certain things that you don't even remember you've done. That's how deep mental health goes. So it's like it's impacted at the point where it's shame in the black community as well. A lot of, you know, too proud, chest too high. I can't admit that. That would make me look less of a man. Do you get what I mean? And that is a big thing for black men. Do you get what I'm saying? You got one hand telling us, we're black kings, we're black, you know, we are, you know, the trendsetters, but then we're suffering mental health. We haven't got our mind together, so it looks like we're failing, and we don't want to fail. So we, you know, carry the weight on our shoulders. And I think a lot of West Indian elders have brought that trait to us. They, like most grandparents, hold so much secrets and weight on their shoulders. You don't even know, and they're smiling at you, cooking up the dinner with love. And you know how much stuff has happened in Nan's life. And she just the weight on her shoulders, and we adapt that teaching. But in England, like maybe in Jamaica, but in England, as being born as British, that teaching doesn't actually work, because you've got so many things and you just break down. There's so many things I could go into. I can't go into it now, but there's so many things that like open you up and break in. You show yourself in England more. Do you get what I mean? No, I totally agree. And it's funny you say that, because just share my own little quick story. I remember when me and my wife got married, and one of the things that she kept doing was washing up and then putting the cloth over the dishes. And for years she did this, and I didn't think nothing of it. I thought maybe it's a technique that makes it dry quicker. So I remember one time she was in the kitchen, she's just finished washing up and put the cloth over the dishes. And I was like, why did you keep doing that? And she was like, I don't know, my mum used to do it, so I just do it myself. And for me, I was like, wow, you've learnt something that you don't even know what you're doing. And when I spoke to her mum about it, there's a whole massive story as to why she does it. So you're right in terms of our grandparents who have so much stuff, that do stuff that we watch and we copy, and we don't know what they're copying for, and we kind of take it on as life, and then it impacts so much around us, really. Exactly. So that example what you give, and I don't know the ins and outs, but a lot of the stories are their grandparents were so strict they had to do that because it was like they get in trouble if they don't. Do you get what I mean? So it became just, we just do it because we were told to. Do you get what I mean? Absolutely, man. So before we close up, then, where can everyone get this book from? You can get it from the website, publisher's website, K&M Publishing. That's knmpublishinghouse.com. You can buy the book there, £4.50. And you can, the event will always be on Eventbrite. And on my social media sites. So my Instagram is Young King Malibu. Young King Malibu. K&M Publishing on Instagram. And it's on Twitter as well. Facebook. Young King Malibu. So it's the outlets to buy is the publisher's website. But you can get the links through social media to the website. So we're definitely going to be putting the link onto how to get that onto our page today as well. And I can only say thank you for coming on today. This isn't the last time we're getting you on, by the way. I think there's too much for us to talk about. Of course, definitely. Around relationships, and especially we need obviously doing a recap of your event coming up, which is Monday, which unfortunately tickets are sold, guys. So those that are watching right now on social media, you can't go. But if you look at my social media on Monday, you might see me do a few pictures.
Yeah.
No promises, but I gotta be careful with the content because obviously you gotta put that out as well.
Yeah.
So there'll be a few pictures, not too many, guys. But Malik, thank you for coming down today. Again, guys, if you didn't you haven't forgotten, I'm gonna say it again. Random Thoughts. That's the book you're looking for. Okay, that's on his website publishing. What's that publishing one again? Sorry.
K&M Publishing.
K&M Publishing.
Yeah.
And he's not on Amazon.
It's on Amazon as the Kindle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Amazon just as the Kindle.
Okay.
It's not on Amazon as the book because Amazon take too much money from us people that trying to do our own business and stuff. They take too much stuff, so nah, it's not. Amazon, I'm a businessman and I don't work like that.
Yes, you can get it online, but mainly come through the website, or you can give me a shout and I will send you the link for that as well. So thanks for that again. And guys, you have been listening to Real Talk, and this is myself, Jermaine from Abrava, and Malachi. Is it it's Malachi?
Yeah, Malachi. Yeah.
Is it Nunes?
Nunes. Portuguese, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine's just simple English.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing special on that name. But guys, thanks for listening and take care. God bless.
Yeah.